Triple, truffle, shuffle, trouble. Let's leave the Elizabethan wordplay out of it for a moment and take a look at a Sonic game a bit closer to the heyday of Sonic 3 that managed to push the Game Gear to the breaking point. But aside the fact that we actually saw this game in the States a month before its Japanese release, which is unheard of in '94. Disregard the strange history of developer Aspect Digital Entertainment, a company primarily concerned with making Sonic games for the 8-bit systems, Master System and Game Gear, well into the 90s, as well as porting Fatal Fury to the Genesis a couple times, producing various Disney and Coca-Cola flavored licensed games for the Game Gear, and creating a Wonder Swan version of Makai Toshi's Saga, aka the Final Fantasy Legend. Forget all that, here's the important part. This is a Sonic game on admittedly constrained and unwieldy hardware that manages to be exactly what a Sonic game should be. Just fast enough, just complex enough, and able to riff on the very mechanics that typified the series. No 3D, no fighters, no racing, none of that. This is just original Sonic the Hedgehog, or Tails if you so choose, platforming with all the innovations up through Sonic 3 and this title's direct predecessor, Sonic Chaos, intact. There are rocket shoes, there are spring power-ups where you're effectively just riding a huge bouncy platform. There's huge levels, rivaling what the Genesis had to offer despite this being a Game Gear title. Hit a Chaos Emerald box, and if you've got 50 rings, a warp appears to take you to another huge platforming section, where you can wrest one of said gems away from series newcomer Nack, Fang the Sniper Weasel. Once Sega settles on a name, so will I. But best of all, there's one button. One lonely button, because that's all you need for a Sonic game. This is exactly the gameplay that made people like the series in the first place, and what would survive only in the fantastic Sonic Advance series for the GBA. Case in point, the end of Sunset Park Zone 2. You hit the sign as you've done a bajillion times before, but then you just keep running. No score tallying screen, no explanation, the game just starts scrolling and you've got to keep up and dodge pits and knock down weird spike ball carrying bat things. Then you catch up to the engine, realize you're at the front of the train and that you've already transitioned into Act 3, the boss fight. That's a well-designed transition. I'm completely willing to stomach some slightly less than responsive controls for a game with that kind of confidence. If you don't feel like buying a Game Gear and 11,000 batteries, you've got two options for playing Triple Trouble today, either on Sonic Gems Collection on the GameCube or on the 3DS Virtual Console. I'd lean toward the latter as the GameCube version might happen to have a problem with this boss right here. I remembered him as taking about a dozen hits to enter raining fiery death mode, but today I spent the better part of 5 minutes just mangling him and getting nowhere whatsoever. Still, if you must blow up Game Gear games onto your big old plasma telemabob, Sonic Triple Trouble is among your best choices.